She live. You still have that.
Shut up! No, I can't fix it. I need to fix it. I also don't want to pay for it anymore.
You can fix it, just not with that attitude.
But I also don't want to change the music. Anyway, hi, I'm Eugene. This is Cyrus. It's EG Live. It's been a minute since we've done this show. Let's see here. So Super Mega Graphics said first. So and well. Supposedly there's a new way. I was looking. I need to figure it out. Well, we don't have it going on this episode, but and I don't think it's a top tier thing you have to buy, but you can have like the chat like auto like showing on the bottom corner here. That might be something we end up looking at, especially for this show. I don't know about all the shows, but we might have to look at for this one. So, but anyway, so yeah, it's been a minute since we've done this show. Just a lot of things came up in life, and you know, what is your shirt say?
Oh, it's keeping it real,
dude. That's nice.
3DO.
Yeah.
I made this shirt.
Dude, that is awesome, man.
Yeah. Available from Super Mega Graphics 64's online t-shirt shop. You too can. Anyway, never mind.
Or you can just go to his YouTube and it should link there too.
I don't make any money on it, so.
Oh no one makes any money on it, so yeah, yeah, that's how it works. So
that's
not what I want to do.
There he is.
All right, comments. Who we got here? PJ Smith. Greetings, true believers, and to you, sir.
We were hanging out in Casey's stream, the Intellivision gamer. He's doing he's playing some of the new homebrew stuff. I don't know if you know Casey, Eugene.
No, I don't think I've met yet.
Yeah, Casey's become a superstar. He's become a superstar.
Really?
He was at the Portland Game Retro Get Together Meeting Gala, whatever they call it.
Mm-hmm.
PRGE. I don't know what that stands for. Something retro gathering event. I don't know. Who knows?
Portland Retro Gaming Event.
I don't know what it's. PJ probably knows. I don't know. But anyway, so when Atari was showing off this new Intellivision thing, Casey was there to interview everybody and did a full smorgasbord of testing on this unit and answered a whole bunch of questions that people had as far as like how it works, how the controllers work, can it sideload ROMs, like all this kind of stuff is because of Casey. This information that we got put out by Atari, because Atari had only released very little limited information, and Casey stepped in, and because he was just up their ass, we now know all kinds of good stuff about this thing. So
Portland Retro Gaming Expo. That's okay. First off, that's awesome. That's awesome that he did all of that. But why the hell would they not put that information out? That's just weird.
Dude. This is very typical of these companies that do this retro stuff. These smaller companies. In fact, so Atari, when they announced, I guess we're getting into this already.
We're going to get into it in a minute. Yeah. So
we'll come back to it.
Tell you what. Yeah. So anyway, it's been like 4 weeks since we've done this show. Since then, I've done like 1 million streams of playing Castlevania.
Yes, you have. You've done like 10 times as many streams as I've done.
Yeah. Well, not all of them have been that great. I've had some technical difficulties. In fact, that last one I did was a surprise. I honestly did not think I was going to get to do a stream for a Circle of the Moon. I think I've only played that game a little bit because I was like, this seems like a really fun game. Like, I really need to sit down and play this. And I was really getting into it. And about 45 minutes in, OBS comes up and says, disconnected from server, reconnecting. I'm just like, okay. I went back and watched the video. Perfectly fine. Nothing happened. On the other hand, about 5 or 6 minutes later, my entire PC just like completely had a hard shutdown reset. I'm like, what the hell happened? So, and I know, is it Last Line, I think, or is it Luke's Awakening that's been complaining about all of the stuff he's been having problems with OBS? I know a lot of, I know he's been saying it. I've heard some other people mention they're just like, I don't know what the hell happened in this last OBS update, but it's wild. It's all over the map.
Yeah.
So, speaking of Last Line, congratulations, folks. We lived to see the end of it all. Give yourself a round of applause for being awesome.
I don't know what that is in reference to.
I don't either.
But it could be in reference to a lot of things. There's
I'm kind of afraid something else is going on while we're doing the stream that we don't know about. So
have we? Well, I'm not gonna. Never mind.
So we're just gonna keep being happy and keep moving forward. If something big happens, I'm sure someone will come through the door and let me know. So, although never mind, I'm not gonna get into that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna throw my wife under the bus. She was asking me about some news stories. I'm like, how did you not hear? No, you know what? I am gonna go ahead and say it. So she was asking me about the shutdown, and I was giving her some information about that. And then something came on the news, and she's like, there was a break-in at the loot, and I was like, how did you not know? How did you not hear about that? And yet, last night, right before we're going to bed, there's a news story about this monkey that got loose and went crazy at a Spirit of Halloween. And she's like, you didn't hear about that? I'm like, okay, think about the caliber of news that I knew about and you didn't.
They had like 7 test lab monkeys escape. There was a wreck.
No, that's a different story. That's a different story.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what she was talking about too. Yeah.
Something's going on, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. When she's like, oh yeah, like they were diseased. They weren't just like,
let me tell you, these monkeys are escaping for a reason. They're being unleashed onto the public. This is not a coincidence. This sort of thing has been set up for years. I've been warning you that this was going to happen.
Jesus. I gotta tell you something just kind of along the lines of that. So do you know about 7.6 or 6.7? I mean,
no. Should I be aware of something going on with
PJ Smith? I'm not touching your monkey, thank you. So there's a thing with the kids. It started just randomly, and anytime they see the number 6 and 7 together, they go 6-7, 6-7. It's a stupid thing, right? Anyway, they've also started doing it for other numbers. The one that pisses me off is I was like, there's another one. It's not as big, and it's 4-1. And I'm just like, really? You were one number off from being like an awesome number of 42, but you just couldn't do that. You had to be that stupid. Anyway, the reason why I bring this up is one of their teachers found a video someone did of kind of going along with the 6-7, and it's I think it's Jefferson talking about the real number you should be going after is 1776. That's the number you should be going after. And of course, back to your reference there. So
whenever the kids start doing that, you should just automatically start singing extremely loudly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. just get in their face while you're doing it, Be like, huh?
Yeah. So a lot of parents have decided for Halloween they're going to do something like that. In fact, Christy is actually one of her friends are wearing Halloween shirts. One of them's a 6, one of the other one's a 7. They're like, maybe if we make the olds seem like they're in with it, it'll completely kill this. Because you know how that works. When the olds end up starting to learn something, it's dead then. So
back in my day, we liked 69. Now it's 60. You kids are lame.
Oh, they know about 69 too. Of course, they have to ask Dad, you know what that is? I'm like, yes. So anyway, all right.
You'd be like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
I have no idea what you're talking about. You want to explain it?
Yeah, what is this thing that you refer to?
Yeah. So anyway, it's been 4 weeks since we've done this show. And I was like, do we want to cover just a couple of stories, or do we want to take a bunch of stories and just run through them really fast?
Can we do the total recall thing for this?
The total recall thing.
4 weeks. 4 weeks. Never mind.
You can do it. You've got credit for it now. So, all right. So with that said, let's go and we got to start off with the fall winter movie game. So
I wonder how this is going.
Yeah. So, okay. So instead of showing the highest grossing movies, I decided instead I would show the top 5 valued movies, like how they went out. And so Regretting You right now, yeah, it's only made $12.8 million, but only one person bid $1 on it. Wonder who that was. So it's worth $12.8 million. Black Phone 2 is actually the number 2 highest grossing movie we have in the game right now at $49 million. But considering it went for 4 points, it's only worth $12.2 million. Tron Ares is the highest grossing at 63.3, but at 11 points, it's only worth 5.7. Chainsaw Man. Wow. We're going to get to a story kind of like this later. 17.2 was bid at 4, so 4.3. And Roofman, which actually looks interesting to me, 19.3, making 3.8. But our highest grossing movie so far in this game is Tron Ares, and it's only at 63.3. And I know you've seen this movie. We haven't done the show since you saw the movie. Yeah. Just real quick, what did you think, man?
It's a really good movie.
I heard lots of people say that.
It's much better than you think it is. It's fun. It's beautiful. The music is amazing. The story's not bad. The characters, some of them are better than others, but it's very fun and it sets up stuff. So,
oh no, that's not what I want.
So I really hope that there's more movies because, yeah.
Well, there's okay, we'll get to that here in just a second. But I was trying to find, where is it? I went to the wrong place at first.
There's some sort of coordinated effort on the internet to make this movie seem worse than it really is, and I don't know the motivations for this. I've watched a lot of bigger YouTubers sort of parrot the same bullshit about Tron Ares, and I'm like, are you guys reading from a script? Is this some kind of like, what's going on? There's something weird going on with Tron Ares. Like like they were actually trying to like crap on this movie, and it hadn't even before it even came out. This started.
Yeah,
it's very strange.
So I was trying to. I went to IMDb first. Unfortunately, I was pulling up Rotten Tomatoes. It has a 53% on the tomato meter. It has an 86% on the popcorn meter, which is the one where, and it says over 5,000 verified ratings. Yeah. So yeah, apparently the critics were split on it, but the audiences who actually went and saw it were like, no, I like this movie. So yeah, and I have to say, I've seen some bigger people be like, it really wasn't that great. But the smaller people, like especially people who are doing a stream or talking about something else, and they're just like, oh, by the way, I went and saw Tron Ares this weekend. Go see it. I thought it was a fun movie. Like they're not like that's not their big thing. But yeah, if you're like a big time, and I wonder, see, I don't. It doesn't make sense that they would purposely want to dog on a movie because then they wouldn't get invited back to see any other movies.
This is a thing they do. Like they look for a target, and once it becomes like acceptable in their little clique community to just trash the movie, then they all do that. Like it's not. This isn't the first time that this happens all the time, and there's like, you could say some of it's political maybe, or some of it's like just dogpiling because they found an easy target for them that they're all going to agree upon is like, this is a crap movie we can all go after. There's definitely something going on with these people. Like, yeah, you're on to something there. Last line. Yes.
It's the grifter community. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So. And my buddy Max, let me just say this. I have a little bit of insight because of my buddy Max, and he deals with a lot of these people. He's actually been like on streams with a lot of these bigger people and stuff. And there's something to that. These people are, there's some of them that are good, but there's a lot of them that are not honest. They're doing a grift, like you said. There's a thing going on where they're just, it really sucks. It really sucks because they do it with video games. They do it with movies. They do it with TV shows. They pick a target and they try to milk as much as they can out of it by just crapping on it. And it really sucks because like a movie like Tron Ares, which, no, it's not the greatest movie of all time, but it's a pretty fun movie. And it's a decent Tron movie, and it sets up a bunch of good stuff for the future if that happens. But they just decided, for whatever reason, I don't know, who knows what those reasons are, that this was not just not a good movie, Eugene. They went after Tron Ares like it was the worst thing that's ever been made. Like they went after Tron Ares like shooting this movie down. If you watch this movie and you liked it, you're an idiot. Like this is like the worst Tron. This doesn't even make sense. It's fucking god awful. Like they went on, and anyway, it's what it. Never mind. I'll shut up.
No, you're good. You're fine. I was actually going to do this real quick screen share. Let me do this. Yeah. So another thing that's kind of come along with this is, if you don't know what HasLab is the what's the word I'm looking for? You have to put in money, and if enough people back it, then it gets made. GoFundMe. It's kind of like a GoFundMe type thing. And they've started doing that with some of these bigger things. So like my Proton Pack that's over here, that was one that they did. That big Unicron they did years ago, that was one of those. Well, for whatever reason, they came out with this Tron Heroes of the Grid. It's got 25 days left, but look at the backer numbers. It's not going to make. Yeah. Now, granted, that being said, everyone's kind of said, yeah, it looks pretty cool, but I don't know why I didn't pick US, but yeah, for that much, for around $300 US, yeah, that's not a lot to get for $300. Like, yeah. So anyway, all right. Well, next part of this was the actual scoring.
Oh, what's happening now? I don't understand what's going on. What happened?
Yeah. Let's see here. Let me take this off real quick. There we go. All right. So here's what's interesting about this. So there was 7 of us that did the initial bidding on this. You, me, Travis, Sean, Chris, and Ray. So there were 7 of us. There were 7 of us that did the initial bidding on this. And even with that, that means we also were we're kind of behind the 8 ball on this one, because we had to do the initial bidding. We had to, do this. We didn't have, quarterback, Monday quarterbacking of this to go, oh, well, I can pick and choose of the things that were there and come up with the best list. So anyone that was not one of us should actually have a better chance of winning this. And yet you're still leading the back. My buddy Travis, like whenever I post updates to this, my buddy Travis actually messaged me the other day and said, "Sign is fucking cheap movies."
Well.
Yes.
Looks like I'm winning. How about that?
Yeah. So 6 to 7 of us. 6. See, told you right there. Anytime they hear 6, 7, or anytime the combination of that.
We just have to take ownership of it, Eugene.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If I had thought ahead, like tomorrow is Halloween, so we're doing a dress up day up at my campus, and my partner and I are just doing separate things this year. If I had thought about it, I would have done like my wife and her friend are doing, and been like, dude, you just get a shirt and put a 7 on it, and I'll put a 6 on it. We're just gonna roll around campus like that and be like, because I'll guarantee all those high schoolers would be like, oh man, the olds know. So anyway, so we have, instead of, like I said, normally we do 2, maybe 3 stories. We got 10. We got 10 stories to cover tonight. So we're going to kind of run through them. But yeah, and some of them are actually kind of linked to each other. So it's kind of an interesting thing. So here we go. Let's start with the first one. Netflix is rethinking binging. So according to the story that came out, let me make sure I didn't want to necessarily pull up the article because there's a bunch of like ads and stuff, but LA Times was talking about the fact that Netflix is looking at trying to kind of rethink binging. And so they're planning on trying to break more and more of their shows, their seasons, into 2 or 3 parts. They've done this with some of the bigger things, and they're planning on doing that with even more. So like Wednesday season 2, I don't remember if they did it with season 1, but Wednesday season 2 is 10 episodes long. I think it's 10. It's either 8 or 10 episodes long. And so they literally brought out 4 episodes, waited about, I don't know, a couple weeks, maybe a month, and then dropped the other 4. They're doing the same thing with Stranger Things coming out here. The first half of the last season comes out. They wait a little bit and they drop the second one. And the reason is there's always been this debate about getting the water cooler commentary, which is why I have the picture there. You want buzz. You want people to have time to talk about this and to anticipate stuff. And other networks have been doing things kind of like this. They've been messing with it a little bit. So like I know on Disney Plus, a lot of times, like when a new show comes out, they'll drop the first 2 or 3 episodes together. And I think Hulu's doing the same thing. Instead of dropping, all 10 or whatever episodes for the show, they may drop the first 2 and then wait a little bit and drop the second 2. And maybe even like week to week, so that you've got enough to watch and kind of keep going. But it's not like it used to be where it was week after week after week. And I know there are some shows that definitely benefit from having the old model of kind of the build up and, what's going to happen next. And instead of just being able to go click, click, click. I know there's some other shows though that have benefited from being able to binge them, because otherwise it's like it was drug out too long and you start to lose interest in it, and you're just like, I don't even care how this ends. Like, just freaking get to the point.
Walking Dead. Excuse me.
Yeah. Sai is only leading the pack because he chose all of the early movies.
Hey, don't reveal my strategies.
Actually,
right?
he has movies near the end as well. I'm just saying. So he's winning the pack. He's leading the pack because he picked all of the cheap movies. So no matter what it makes, he's getting the full amount of money for it. So the real reason is because you have to subscribe for more than 1 month if you want to stay on top of the conversation. That is also true. That being said, though, that didn't pan out for HBO because everyone did the exact same thing I used to do, which was I'll just wait till the whole season's done and then I'll subscribe for a month. So I really think the way that they talk is that it's because of buzz. Because if you put out the entire season in one weekend, you may get all of the buzz for that weekend. And then it's it tails off pretty quick after that. So do you prefer binging stuff? Or, you probably don't even watch a lot of TV anymore, do you?
No, not really. But I'll tell you this, the binging thing, there's shows that are good for that, and it's good for like a show that's already been out and you're trying to get somebody else to see it, like when my daughter wants to watch Andor or something,
Right, yeah.
But I'll tell you this, I much prefer a show that comes out every week, a new episode or something like that, because if it's a good show, I want to watch it and then go think about it and talk about it and maybe watch it again and think about what's going to happen next, and listen to other people's speculations and stuff. I like for a show to last for a while. And if they put everything out, you just watch it all and then it's like, okay, I watched it all. And there's nothing to look forward to and there's no reason to talk about it. Maybe you could talk about it a little bit, but you really won't because you don't want to spoil anything for somebody else. So there's really not any buzz from people talking about it, or, it's just over with. So I really do prefer shows that, take 10 weeks or whatever for all the episodes to come out. It's just, Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, things like that. It's just a lot better because, like I said, otherwise it's just over with.
It kind of depends on the show. And also for me, it honestly depends on the show, my mood, and just what else going on. Yeah. So like, especially if it's a half-hour show, sometimes it's like, man, I can sit down and clear out a couple of these, back to back to back. If it's an hour-long show, I really don't have a lot of time that I could sit down and watch 2 back to back. So if they spread it out, it's fine. It is also nice sometimes to not feel like, oh man, this show just dropped. Now I've got 10 hours of programming sitting there waiting for me to watch it. Not that anyone's forcing me to watch it or anything. You know what I'm saying? Like that, we have to get out of that mentality too, that, oh, I have to watch this. You don't have to watch crap. Watch what you want to watch. So
I will say, if one episode has come out, there's a lot more motivation for me to go watch that one episode than if 10 episodes just came out and I'm like, oh, I don't know when I have time to watch 10 episodes. And, if I watch one, I'm going to want to watch 2 and it's going to be, so I put it off and it starts to fall into my backlog just because I'm like, I just don't have time for this. Even though I could just watch one episode. It's not that big a deal, but there's just a different thing that happens in my head because of that.
No, I get it. I'm halfway through Wednesday season 2. I want to watch the second half, but I'm just like, there's been so much stuff going on. I've just been like, I just don't have time to do that. Well,
everyone dies. Everyone dies.
I'm sure they do. So I have to tell you a funny story. So my grandfather and my grandmother, classic couple of she falls asleep, like she would fall asleep constantly watching a TV show or movie or whatever. And that was always my grandfather's answer was, what happened at the end of that show last night? Everyone died.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it was. What happened at the end of that Love Boat episode? Everyone died.
Yeah. I think we used to joke about that back in the day, Eugene. Like, I think that was something when we were in college we would say too.
I think so too. Yeah. How did that end? Everyone died. It didn't matter what it was. All right, let's move on to our next story. So, Taylor Swift's release party wins big. Talking about, we just went through the movies that were coming out, right? In this game. And right now, the biggest one right now is Tron Ares with like 65, I think, $1 million. Now that's $65 million also domestic. It's not worldwide.
Right.
But that being said, the weekend that Taylor Swift's release party for her Life of a Showgirl, I think is what her newest album is, came out. It was the number one thing at the box office worldwide and cleared $46 million in one weekend. Like, this is a thing that's happening. The Chainsaw Man thing, I don't think that movie, I think it's only staying in theaters for maybe a week or two. It's not like a long theatrical run, I don't believe. It's more like a special event. To the point that Netflix is bringing back the weekend that K-pop Demon Hunters had their sing-along in the theater. It also won that weekend. And they're actually bringing it back out this coming weekend and doing it in even more theaters. And so, is this the next big thing? Like, I mean, of course, I'm sure the theaters are loving having, stuff for people to come watch or whatever. And it goes back to some of our earlier conversations of people want to, there's a thing right now, especially in the last few years, where people they want to get together and they want to experience things together. It's why a lot of people have forever, even though they have a television, they could definitely pay for ESPN Plus, Ultra, whatever that it costs or whatever. And either they're too cheap or they want to go to a bar and be around other people and cheer on their team. People want to be around other people to watch things, to experience things. I think this is a cool thing that's happening. Now, I don't know if I would necessarily go for I'm not a big music person. I'm not a big music person, so I can't ever see like going to a theater for something like this for a release party for something. Now, granted, I don't know if they still do it anymore, but I know that the Alamo Draft House has used to do some really fun events. And the one that I always wanted to go to, I always wanted to go along with a quote along for Clue, because I can quote the hell out of that movie. And to sit there with a bunch of other people that know all of the lines, get all of the jokes, I think that would be a fun time,
Well, I mean, I've been to a Big Lebowski thing like that.
Oh, you have?
Yeah. It's been several years now, but people dressed up like, with
nice
characters and stuff, the robes and the sunglasses and all the stuff. There's, they used to do screenings of The Room, and people would get together and enjoy that. The Rocky Horror Picture Show is famous, for this sort of thing. This is something people do. It's a fun thing to, hang out with like-minded people and enjoy something that you're familiar with. Absolutely.
I have done it in a private session. I have done The Room thing because my buddy Travis that was on the show, he invited a bunch of friends to come over to his house, and he's got this huge folder that he's been working on for years, and he has a whole shtick that he does, to the point he also does it at his college. And I'm just like, you show that movie? And he's like, well, they're college kids. I let them know and beforehand there's nudity and very uncomfortable sex scenes, but like it's a whole thing. And I was like, okay, I get it. This is a fun thing. So, I just wanted to throw that out there.
They're going to be, I've heard this. They're going to be re-releasing the original cut of Star Wars in the theater. So
I'll believe it when I
know.
see it.
I know.
Because they promised that several times.
I know, but I keep
hearing in fact, I originally heard they were doing a showing of Empire or of Jedi that way. And I don't know if you can see it back here. Right there. I have a Darth Vader mask that I got going to an Alamo Draft House with my mom. I was asking if anyone wanted to go, and my mom was like, yeah, I'll go with you. And so we both went to this thing, and like they picked one of the theaters and they gave us all masks because they had us put it on to take a picture from a promotion. They're like, you can keep the mask. I'm like, well, that's cool. But yeah, I was like, it's like, oh, this is not the original cut. Originally, I thought this was going to be the original cut or whatever. So I guarantee you, as soon as Disney's stock drops just enough, they're going to be like, all right, release the originals. And then back up. Yeah. So let's see here. What did Born Distracted say? I am glad Robert Englund Got a star on the Walk of Fame. I didn't hear about that, but yes, that man deserves it.
Tell me this, Born Distracted, if you know, did he get his glove in the cement?
Oh, if he didn't, that's a shame.
I hope so.
I sure hope so too. Yeah, that would be a shame if he didn't have the glove in there. So
that man is a national treasure.
Absolutely. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next story. TiVo ends the DVR era.
TiVo.
I know, right? So TiVo has stopped making DVR hardware. They are focusing on branded OS software. So apparently they're still making TiVo OS that goes into like televisions and I guess some set-top boxes or something. But they created the original set-top box in 1999. So real quick, I actually went on a walk with my boy before dinner this evening. We have a walking trail that we had never done, and he's wanting to get out and walk or whatever. So I went and walked with him, and I was talking about the stories we're doing. He asked me about my show tonight, and I was telling him about this story. And I was like, do you know what a TiVo is? He was like, no. He said, I think I've heard the term. So I was explaining to him. I was like, you know what DVR is and everything else. Yeah, like they revolutionized that. Like they basically created that industry. I never had an official TiVo. The only thing I ever had was the DVR from Time Warner Cable was who we had at the time. I had one of their DVRs. I thought it was fine, but then you talk to people, like you want to talk about people who were dedicated to a piece of hardware, like hardcore, maybe up there with Xbox and PlayStation and Apple and Microsoft fans. Like they were, oh no, like you're using the garbage version. Like TiVo is the jam.
Okay, this was one of the big jokes in the movie Tropic Thunder. People don't remember this, but Matthew McConaughey was trying to move heaven and earth to make sure that Ben Stiller got a TiVo while he was out there in the jungle and everything.
I don't remember that.
It was a big part of the plot, actually. And now people aren't going to understand it because TiVo is going to be gone. But no, you're right. That was part of the joke was, you know, he had to have, because it was like you're right. People were like, you have to have the TiVo. TiVo was like the big thing, you know.
Last line says I had Play On. Apparently that was the competitor. Like if you Apple, Microsoft, you know, Sony, Microsoft. Yeah, like it was TiVo, Play On. So yeah. Well, go take care of that, Luke's Awakening.
You've come to the right place, Luke.
I know, right? Let's see. I hope it won't hurt, Luke. I hope it doesn't hurt either. May the force be with you, Luke. All right. But yeah, so did you ever have a TiVo?
No, I had the AT&T. With AT&T, what they had was it was like cloud DVR. So you could literally record an unlimited number of shows because it didn't actually record. It was like stored on their servers, and you would just play whatever you had recorded. So you never had to worry about running out of space. That was the problem with the TiVo was, I mean, it was the good thing about TiVo was you recorded your stuff and you kept it on your own TiVo. But you were also bound by the limits of what you could record. So.
Yeah, I remember there was a big hacking community that was really big into getting in and putting in a bigger hard drive because I only had like a, I don't know, 250 gig hard drive or something like that. And a lot of people were just like, I like to save some shows as well. So they were trying to figure out how to put like a 500 gig, a terabyte hard drive in there. I remember there was a whole community of people that were all about that at one time.
Yeah.
So, but
yeah, I'm Luke. We're all kind of like shocked that TiVo was even still a thing because who even remembered? Like, I saw that you had this story, and I was like, TiVo. I haven't even heard that name in 10 years, you know. Like, but you know, I guess they were still doing stuff.
Well, it's kind of like we did a story, a month or so ago when what am I thinking of? Dial-up internet. AOL finally shut down the last of it, and it was just like, that's still around, like that's still a thing. So
yeah. I don't know.
So yeah, there were Play On boxes. I'm looking at one right now. So it was apparently before they went all software. They probably went all software before they probably saw the writing on the wall before TiVo ever did, and was like, no, we're just doing the software thing now. So
I like how Born Distracted said I had the first model. It was called a VCR.
Yep. I will never forget. Like, I am the only one at 8 years old, probably. I was the only one in my household that knew how to set up the VCR to record on time. I sat down and messed with it, and I finally figured it out. My parents never could figure it out.
Yeah.
So, yet GameFly is still kicking somehow. No joke, dude.
How?
Yeah. Do you guys remember Web TV by any chance? I had a friend that had one. Yeah, I vaguely remember that too, man.
One of my friends in high school, his mom got the Web TV. It was so bad. It was not, I mean, I couldn't even believe it was a thing. It was so low resolution because it was on TV, you know, and you know, this is old TV. This is not HD TV. And it was just slow as good. I mean, oh my God, it was so bad. And like I said, it looked terrible on the screen too. Wow. It didn't last. How long was it even around? It wasn't around that long.
Ooh, I don't know, man.
Or maybe it was, but good God, maybe there's people that have still been using it that have never, you know what I mean? Like those older people that got into the internet and never tried to upgrade.
The ones who were still using AOL dial-up.
Yeah, exactly. They're using the AOL dial-up on their web TVs. That's probably.
Well, here's the funny thing. In that story, TiVo specifically said, I figured out how to put the comments on there. I may have to figure out how to rearrange some stuff here, though. In fact, let's just do this. If I can.
Oh yeah, you got it on there. Look at you.
Let's see here. Can I?
You're learning.
I'm learning.
Let's just hope your computer doesn't crash while we're doing the show.
Well, since this is all being streamed, I don't think it will. So, the problem is, now that it's automatically going, I'm missing some stuff. You always had to set your VCR like 10 minutes earlier and stop 10 minutes later, just due to clock differences. I don't think anyone's clock were set the same back. Oh yeah, no, dude, it was ridiculous. So,
dude, the networks would deliberately have the shows start late or early. They deliberately did that back in the day.
One of the reasons why I still to this day hold a grudge against all professional sports. I'm sorry. If you can't finish the game in time, tough. But oh no, we're going to push this back. And well, you know what? Maybe we're not going to show the new episode of this because it's so late and the numbers will be lower. So we'll push it back to another night.
Well, I'll tell you, it's funny you say that, Eugene, because there actually was a game. It was and I don't remember what it was, but it was a big football game back in the day. And it went too long.
I know it's when you talk. I've heard about this.
Okay. And they did interrupt it. They stopped it and started playing some movie or something. And the backlash was so legendary from that. They will never do that again.
Oh no, you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe I don't remember what it was, but it was a big game, and it was like, it wasn't even like, it was some movie that was finally coming out on TV, and it was like, whatever. But at the time, the thinking was, well, we got to start this movie. We paid for the rights to, we got to get our money from this movie. And that didn't go over well.
I don't quite like this layout, but at least this way we can see all the chat there, and we can still see everything. So I'm going to have to play with this. So kind of like that, though. All right. Yeah, so let's go ahead and move on from TiVo. All right, so Born Distracted, I think, actually already brought this up a little bit earlier with a question. Warner Brothers Discovery rejects buyout offer. So WBD, which is funny because until I was like, WBD, what is that? Warner Brothers Discovery rejects a $20 per share offer from Paramount Skydance. They specifically said, it's too low. Now, my understanding is they weren't originally shopping it around. Like, they weren't originally looking to be like, oh yeah, we're for sale. We're looking to sell. Paramount was just like, hey, I'll buy you. You interested? And they're like, well, it's kind of too low. And so we're going to talk in a little bit about another story where apparently they're like, yeah, we'll take some offers. But yes, as to your question earlier, Warner Brothers Discovery owns HBO, HBO Max, CNN, TNT, TBS, and DC Studios, which is part of the other story we're going to be talking about. A lot of people seen a lot of jokes going around. They're just like, cool, so cable's coming back because it's all going to be owned by one company. Of course, the other joke that I've seen people doing is is showing Mickey Mouse instead of Thanos. And of course, he collects the WB stone and puts it in and completes the glove that they now own everything. Yeah. So it's just, we had this. I was really not happy with the situation where everybody thought they had to have their own streaming service. I'm just like, listen, I understand you think you have an audience. That's cute. Can you please get up underneath someone else's umbrella? I really don't need to pay even $5 to $10 extra for this one freaking channel. And now it's like, oh no, now we're going back to literally everyone being under one umbrella, which, I mean, I guess if you want everything that's there, I guess it's not a bad deal. But I've already I don't know what this is going to do. Like right now, my Hulu and Disney Plus and HBO Max are all bundled together. I think I pay $30 a month for those three, which I think is not a bad deal. But if someone else ends up buying Warner Brothers Discovery, are they going to rip the HBO out of that deal? Am I going to have to start now paying another $20 for Paramount Plus to get HBO Max? It's not happy. I'm not happy with the situation. I'll be honest with you. So
I don't even understand any of it. I have friends that try to keep up with this, and I can't even keep up with them trying to keep up with it. So I don't know. None of it makes any sense to me. It's, what'll happen is people will talk about this and they'll do all these shows where they're talking about it, and everybody's speculating. And before an announcement even happens, it changes. And then it changes again. And the announcement hasn't even happened yet, but it's changing again. And it's I don't even want to know. Whatever. I don't. It's too. It's like trying to talk about anything today in the news. I don't want to talk about
it. Yeah, I just things are going to happen. It's out of our control. We're just kind of sitting here watching what's going on. It's going to be weird. Last line said, I'm surprised they rejected it. He later commented, he said he's doing voice to text. I fear that Zaslav was intentionally doing the things he did to get it bought out. And you know what? I wouldn't put it past some people. It could just be oh no, we made a bad decision. We're still trying to do things well, and it's just
I like this term, fearize. We have
fearize.
I fearize. I'll tell you what.
I'm so glad you went with that, and we're not where I thought.
No, I'm not. No, we're not getting into trouble.
Okay, good. Don't get us canceled. Sorry.
Come on, let's do this one. We'll do the redneck version.
All right, that'll work. Yeah,
that's much better
because they don't have a problem with anything. Anyway, so this is happening, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that later on in the episode. Let's see here. Our next story. Speaking of Netflix is adding Spotify video podcast. Netflix will add 16 podcasts in 2026 to include the Bill Simmons podcast, Conspiracy Theories, and the Ringer NFL show. The interesting thing is apparently all these shows do have a video presence on YouTube, and after this happens, you'll still be able to watch it, but not in their entirety. So basically, if you were watching these video podcasts on YouTube, you're about to get the shaft. So if you're wanting to continue watching these video versions of these podcasts, and who knows, they may be video only. I have honestly not heard of a single one of the podcasts listed here. Probably because they're mostly sports related, would be my guess, or entertainment related, and I don't really care about any of that. But yeah, it's I think this is interesting. A lot of people are just so this is Netflix taking another shot across YouTube's bow. And I'm yeah, I guess so. But I mean, Netflix is not if you think Netflix is just movies and some TV shows, boy, you have no idea. WWF or WWF. Listen to me. WWE now streams live on Netflix. They're not just, movies and TV anymore. And they haven't been for a long time.
It's true that they're more than movies and TV, but the question you have to ask yourself is, are people going to go to Netflix for these podcasts? Is this something?
Maybe if you're a fan of them.
But that's the point. If you're already a fan of them, Like, who's going on Netflix looking for the podcasts? Like, you know what I mean? Like if you're loading up Netflix, of all the apps you have, and you're going to load Netflix up, what's on your mind as you start to load Netflix? Like, oh, I need to catch up on this show. I'm going to see what movies they got. Documentaries, or there's something, the new Wednesday block has been released, Stranger Things is coming out. I got to watch the Cobra Kai stuff that I missed last year.
Yeah.
Who's thinking, man, I got to catch the next episode of Bill Simmons. I got to load up Netflix for that. I don't know. Does that make sense? Like, a lot of people listen to podcasts while they're driving, or
Right.
they're at work, or whatever. And I'm like, you're going to load up Netflix at work? You're going to load up Netflix in the car? I don't know.
Maybe the audio, if they do audio versions, they may still be, but it doesn't say in here. It just specifically pointed out, streaming service already produces several podcasts about its shows. Like, you can't make this up, skip intro. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They've got their own podcast. I understand that. I'm sorry. As the popular video podcasts grow, I suspect, and see, that's okay. See, that's another thing. Like, to me, a podcast is, I'm still very old school, hardcore about this. It has to have an RSS feed. Although technically that's how YouTube works as well. YouTube works off of RSS feeds. It's just not quite as public to where you can just pull them out like you would anything else. But the move to everything being on YouTube for podcasting, that surprised the hell out of me. And that's a big thing that's happened. So I don't know. Maybe this is just kind of a natural progression thing. So
I don't think so. I find it absurd. I think it's like, YouTube makes sense because of how YouTube works, but the Netflix, it's like, what's next? They're going to add podcasts to HBO Max. They're going to add podcasts to Paramount Plus. They expect you to go to all these different services that you use for your shows and movies, and also your podcasts.
Okay, here's where I think it makes more sense, and it kind of goes back to that article that I was just scanning real quick. I get it if they start putting their video podcast, if Netflix was putting their video podcast about the shows that they own. Like, why would you not have a thing come up and go, hey, stay after this episode of Wednesday to watch the podcast where we interview that totally makes sense to me. Right. I get that. But you're right. It's just kind of weird. Like, but I also, and not that, I mean, granted, I'm not a music person. I've said this before, say it again. Like, I don't have a Spotify account. I have no interest in getting a Spotify account. I know people who like music have a Spotify account, but that's also not where I would go to find podcasts either. But I guess it just kind of makes sense. Or like, well, you're listening to this audio thing. Why would you not listen to this audio thing?
I don't know. I mean, we're just, you know what? Sometimes I realize I'm not the right person. It's not for me. And my opinion is really not relevant because I'm not in the demo for what they're trying to do.
Fair enough.
And maybe that's what this is too. I don't know.
Could be. Yeah, could be. All right. Let's go and move on to our next story. Let's see here. Going back to Warner Brothers Discovery. This is the other part of the story. So they are reviewing strategic alternatives in light of unsolicited interest. So this goes back to the whole thing of, we weren't looking to get bought out, but everyone seems to want to buy us out. Yeah, because you have some properties I'm sure people would like to get their hands on. Someone said, I want to say it was the last line said earlier, something or another about, oh no, Born Distracted said DC Studios are no prize. No, DC Studios is a huge prize. Now, you may not agree with where it's going right now. I think most of us would agree they haven't done a good job with it. But DC Studios also includes all the animated stuff they've done. And that shit is awesome. Like, their animated stuff is top tier comic book stuff. There is definitely potential there, especially with that man right there on the screen, to do some really awesome stuff with the DC stuff. If you could get it for the right price, like, I could see why people would want to go after it. But it has brought up the question, if they get sold, like, are the new owners going to be like, yeah, go do what you want? Or are they going to put their thumb on the scale like Warner Brothers has done forever? I'm personally of the interest. I'm personally think at this point, almost anyone else, maybe not Sony. Sony couldn't buy them anyway, but almost anyone else could buy them and treat DC Studios better than Warner Brothers has, at least for the live action stuff. Because they constantly want to put their 2, 4, 6, 12, 80 cents in as to what they think should happen, you know?
The problem is it's always been a run by committee when it comes to Warner Brothers, DC, this stuff. Well, they have to really bottom out, and then they give creative control to someone, and then things are good, but then they can't let that happen, so they take it back. It's happened every time they've had success.
Yep.
Whether it's Zack Snyder or Tim Burton or whoever. That's just what it's Warner Brothers is the worst with meddling with things. Well, maybe not the worst. Disney's got a lot going on with that too. But
I was going to say Disney might be fighting them for that. Sony was definitely in that fight as well, but I think even they've gotten to the point on some things. They're just like, hey, maybe we should just give you money and you make money and we'll take the money and be happy instead of needing creative control.
Yeah. Well, that's because Sony bottomed out, and they had to do something, and that's what usually happens. Like a studio or a publisher, whatever you call it, when they bottom out, things go really bad, and then they give control to another, either a director or an entity of some sort, like what they did with the Deadpool Wolverine thing, and they make a shit ton of money. But they can't have it. They can't have it. They don't want money. They want money, but they want to be there. You know what they are? They're Jerry Jones.
Oh, okay.
Like they want success, but only if they get credit for it. Only, they don't want anyway, I can go on forever talking about the Cowboys. Nobody wants to hear me talking about the Cowboys. But my buddy PJ, who was here earlier, he knows what I'm talking about. We have suffered for a long time because of that phenomenon.
Yep.
So I'm familiar with it. That's all I'm saying.
No, I get it. All right. So our next story. I know most of these guys are video gamers that are all here because they're on your Discord. But first off, thank you for being here. If you're in the chat, love you guys. Hope you're having a good time. We're finally getting to the video game stuff, so stick around. All right, so our next story up is
are you monetized on this channel now? Have you gotten monetized?
No, not yet.
We got to get you monetized.
I'm still climbing that ladder. It's starting to pick up, but I'm still climbing that ladder.
Okay.
Paul Williams passes away. Sega announced their longtime leader passed away on October 14th. He joined Sega in 1997, and their official release said he expanded the company into multiple divisions, spanning it worldwide. I remember all the rough times that Sega had, and of course, he eventually got out of the hardware, which ended up being probably one of the best moves they ever made because they've put out some okay games. They've put out some bad games, but they've put out some really freaking killer games. Like what they've done with some of the the newer Sonic the Hedgehog games, you couldn't ask for anything more than that. Yeah. Some of those games are so good.
Sega, what an interesting company. Went through so many different phases as a company and so many different leadership regimes. But it's sad to hear about it. We're all grateful for a lot of the memories that we've been able to build as gamers because of the efforts of people like Paul Williams. So, it's sad, but Sega does have a decent future ahead of it now. They went through some bad times. They went through a lot of bad times. They went through the worst of times. But things have been better, and there seems to be, there's hope. There's light at the end of the tunnel, as they say. So.
Last line. I don't believe you hate video games. I've watched videos to the contrary.
Luke said that.
I'm sorry. Luke said that. My apologies, Luke.
Luke's been frustrated for a while. I'm sorry, Luke. And he's also mad at me for not playing more Nintendo 64. I'm sorry. Get back into that.
Everyone is, Cyrus. No, just playing.
Everyone.
Yeah. So, so we definitely wanted to, give a tip of the hat there, because the man has definitely seen the good times and the bad times, and definitely left the company where it's. And I read that apparently he left a little while ago, so I'm assuming this was something he knew was coming. So, but
none of us get out of this thing alive.
Nope, sure don't. You can only do what you can do when you're here. Yeah. So this next story. Atari announces the Intellivision Sprint. All right, so I'm going to read this real quick, and then I have questions.
Okay.
Atari announced the Intellivision Sprint with 45 built-in games. It will have HDMI, 2 wireless controllers. It will not play carts, but it will have a USB port for expansion. So, Cyrus, my first question is, why is Atari making an Intellivision?
Oh no!
Did they buy the remains of Intellivision? Like
you? Okay, so
to feed on the corpse of their once mighty foe.
You're going to force me to talk about some things now that I deliberately avoid talking about.
Well, then don't talk about it. Just tell me about this new system.
It's fine.
Okay.
It's not a big deal. Yes. A while back, there was a concerted effort to revitalize the name Intellivision. There was a console that was being worked on at some point, and it had prototypes available. I got to play it at certain events, and I may or may not have been featured in a number of videos on the internet, some of which were friendly to me, a lot of which were not friendly to me. And I think that goes for pretty much everybody that was in my little, let's just call it a cult, a little group of people that were still friends. I'm still friends with almost every single one of them. We went through a lot, and then Intellivision went through a lot, to the point to where that company, Intellivision Entertainment, which was trying to bring out their console, is basically completely destroyed at this point. It's been sold off in pieces. Assets have been sold off to different companies, not just Atari, but other companies too. And yes, Atari got a deal at the very end of all this process and bought the name Intellivision and the rights to a whole bunch of stuff related to Intellivision, and sat on it for a while trying to figure out what exactly they're going to do with it and sort of gauge what people thought. And I think also they were trying to let a little bit of time pass between the late unpleasantness and a possible future.
Right.
And yes, they have announced, and they have several working prototypes of this that have been not only shown, but have been thoroughly vetted and tested by people like the Intellivision gamer, Casey, we were talking about earlier, and some other YouTubers on the internet. But I think Casey's done the best job of really, diving in and getting his hands dirty, and whatever analogy you think is good for that. But yeah, dude, Atari owns Intellivision, the name Intellivision. The company that used to be called Intellivision Entertainment has some other name now, and they're still trying to do some stuff. But honestly, nobody gives a shit about what any of that anymore. Like, that's over with. I'm sorry. There's a guy still working on it that I think is a good guy, and I don't have a problem with him. I think he's doing the best he can to try to do something with all that shit. But that's over with. That's been over with for a while. And the Intellivision name and the assets related to it are not part of that stuff that was going on anyway. This is all like retro Intellivision, Mattel Intellivision type stuff.
Okay, yeah.
So the Intellivision Sprint is a new It's sort of like, remember they did the Intellivision flashback, which was
I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
I happen to have the box for that right here.
Oh, there you are, right there, man.
The television flashback. This was like $15 at Toys R Us when I bought it.
Wow.
Yeah. Came with 2 controllers, 60 games. It's still pretty awesome. It's still pretty cool. But
hell, it had 60 games. This one's only got 45, man.
That's true. However, so this has 2.4 gigahertz wireless controllers, not Bluetooth, 2.4 gigahertz. So they're a lot better. The batteries are really good for the controllers. Apparently they last a long time. It's got huge range, almost zero input lag, almost zero, very, very little, to the point where you can't even perceive it. What's great, even though it is only 45 games, they do have the ability for you to just take ROMs, put them on a flash drive and stick it in it. And you can run every Intellivision game, including all of the new homebrew that's like special stuff, because they worked out a deal with the people that make the one emulator. There's a bunch of Intellivision emulators, but there's only one of them that's capable of emulating all of that new homebrew stuff because of the magic they do for some of that stuff, bank switching and memory stuff and whatever. I don't know. But anyway, they licensed Jay-Z INTV, which is the emulator, the best Intellivision emulator for this console. So, yes, 45 games, but you could load every game and all of the new stuff. And I think it's pretty damn awesome. Luke actually had pointed out to me the one weakness that I think that exists for this console. Well, there's 2 weaknesses. One, it only puts out 720p instead of 1080p, but it's fucking Intellivision. Like, come on.
I was gonna say, I mean,
yeah.
How much more crisp do you want those
720p
pixels to be on your 72-inch television?
Technically, 720p is actually better because it's the right integer scale.
Oh, okay.
So you won't have as much of that distortion when the screen moves and stuff, which most of the television games don't, but there are some that do, especially some of the newer ones. So there's that weakness. The other weakness is the big one that everybody noticed immediately. The one thing this thing doesn't have.
The lack of a cart.
Yeah.
I was gonna, because you said 2 problems, and I was just like, well, obviously one of them's done that, because that was the only thing. Otherwise, everything that you've listed, everything that I read, I was just like, if you liked an older television, like, this sounds like a good deal, except for not being able to put the cartridge in.
That's the one thing, and it was very concerning up until the point where we learned that you could load your ROMs onto it. At which point, and we learned that it had the good emulator, so you could literally play everything. And at that point, I think a lot of people started to calm down. And a lot of these homebrew guys that put out games have decided or seem to be in the process of coming to the conclusion that maybe they should put their games out on ROMs instead of just selling cartridges, because they could probably make money with all the people that are going to be getting this. So anyway, it's a new era, I think, for Intellivision fans, like old school Intellivision fans. It's not related to the late unpleasantness with the Amico. That's a completely different company, a completely different product that doesn't even exist anymore. So, if anybody's like planning to just trash this thing because of what happened with that, I'm like, okay, you can do that, but you're completely talking about something totally different. But this is very retro themed, obviously.
Yeah.
But people are bringing out new games for the Intellivision all the time, like all the time. At that PRGE thing that I was telling you about, that Casey was at, where they showed this off and he did all his testing and stuff on this, there was a whole bunch of new games coming out that were shown off and that are coming out like now and in the days and weeks ahead for the Intellivision, for this Intellivision, for the original Intellivision. So it's an interesting system because there's a very active homebrew community, and seeing things like this, yes, there was some disappointment and resistance because of the no cartridge thing, but I think most people, most fans, are recognizing that this is something that the community has actually really needed. You know, with the wireless controllers, with the HDMI, with the ability to load the ROMs. You know, it's got full functionality for all your overlays and all this. It's it's a it's a new Intellivision, and I think that's pretty cool.
So let's see here. 149.99 pre-order now, ship starting December 5th. So obviously it's going to hit here pretty quick. Just over a month now from now.
We're counting down the days. We're literally, I have a group where we talk about this all the time, and every day it's like 39 days, you know.
So
it's like,
I'm guessing the 149 you feel like is a decent price for this thing.
I mean, with the prices, let me say it like this. With the prices for everything that you're seeing for consoles and electronics these days, I think 149, since you get 2 wireless controllers and you can load the ROMs, and it has the correct size for everything, so it supports the overlays and stuff. I think 149 is fine. It maybe it could be cheaper, you know, but it could be a lot more too.
Well, I mean, it could also not to get anything political, but yeah, it could have been 129, maybe a little bit different economy or something, or a little bit other stuff going on. But I mean, yeah, I 149. I mean, considering you, like you said, you're getting 2 controllers, you're getting pretty much everything you could ask for in this thing. I mean, if you're a Intellivision fan, I think this is not a bad deal.
I think I'm gonna buy one for Manon. I got one for me, but I'm seriously thinking about getting another one and loading it up for him.
That would be cool.
Because you know, I don't know if he would play it really, but maybe. And the problem with Intellivision is like, it's just not accessible to people. This is going to make it accessible to people, you know?
Yeah.
Because even if you loaded up an Intellivision emulator on your computer or on your Raspberry Pi, it doesn't have the right controller. So a lot of stuff doesn't work right. And
that's why I don't have it loaded up. I tried loading it up. I had some other issues, and I did finally get to work. And then I'm using I'm trying to use a standard style controller, and I'm just like, how does this map to that? Dude, and it did not. My brain was not handling it.
Yeah, I've got the Intellivision collection they have for Xbox and PlayStation and all that, and it's great it's great, except the controls. It sucks because if you go to use the number pad, you have to bring up like a virtual number pad and then scroll to the right number. And you can't play Intellivision games like that. It just isn't. It's bad. So this is, like I said, this was actually really needed for the community. And there's a lot of people like, my brother, that I think if I was to get him one of these, he might actually play Intellivision games again, and man, it'd be cool to play some, biplanes or some tanks or, there's a lot of cool games that we could play. Snafu, that, it'd just be fun. I know my mom, if we could get one over to my mom's, she would play Night Stalker, especially with being a wireless controller. She can just sit back and it would be fun to take it over on like Thanksgiving or something. Well, it won't be this year, but after it comes out. So yeah, it is $149 is that's not nothing, but it's also, they're not gouging us. I don't think. I think
right. Yeah, this doesn't seem. This is not $300 like they're at, like Hasbro was asking for. Like we mentioned earlier about that Tron HasLab. That's just like, well, it's 4 figures and 2 bikes, and that's a lot for $300. Whereas this is an actual working console that you can do stuff for half.
It's worth it because it hits everything except for the cartridge thing. It really does hit everything that it needed. And it has the best emulator, which was I actually didn't expect that. I thought they were just going to get some whatever emulator, and then it wasn't going to be what we wanted. And I was going to be like, all right, whatever. I'm not.
Or try to code it themselves or something. Yeah.
But when they got the right emulator, I was like, oh, okay.
They're taking this serious then.
Yeah, I was like,
this isn't just someone's pet project. They're just like, yeah, sure, go do your little thing. Like they actually thought about this.
And the 2.4 gigahertz on the controllers was a big deal too, because the difference in lag between Bluetooth and 2.4 is substantial. And 2.4 is just much more stable. So
Mhm.
plus the battery lasts a lot longer. So there's a lot of good reasons. You just plug a freaking HDMI in, man. That's it, and you're playing in television. I think that's awesome.
Last line said PC with mix of controller and number pad on a keyboard, probably the way to go as far as that. You're right. Like, so I was doing it on a Raspberry Pi. I haven't really looked into doing it here. So you're actually right. Last line. If I decided I was going to set that up and like try to stream some of those games, that would probably be the way to do, because this keyboard actually has a legit number pad here. It'd be one thing if I didn't have a number pad on the side. It's still going to be a little weird to have a controller and then to like, reach down on the keyboard to do things, but I could at least figure that out. I would think. Who knows? My brain be like, I don't know. So Atari is basically making themselves the retro company between stuff like this and all the remasters that Night Dive Studios does. I will say, now I don't want to completely go down a completely different rabbit hole, because we're already an hour in. We still got 2 more big stories to cover real quick. But like those throwback Ataris that they're putting out that are like color coded, like they're yellow and stuff. I think those are gorgeous. I immediately saw those and I was like, oh, that would be cool. That would, if nothing else, that would be beautiful to have sitting back here behind me. That would be gorgeous, especially to sit there next to my OG Atari. And then I saw the price and I was just like, I don't want it that much.
Well, I bought the 7800 Plus, which was, it looks like a small 7800.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they put those on sale, and those come with a wireless controller and a game, the Bentley Bear game. And I got to tell you, the 7800 Plus is fantastic. Like I played 2600 and 7800 games on that, and it takes actual cartridges. It doesn't have built-in games or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But it's it does a full, it's 720p output HDMI, and it's an emulator, but it's Stella. It's got Stella built into it, so it's a very capable emulator.
And I wonder if I saw a more expensive version, because I'm looking at it right now. Atari 2600 Pac-Man Edition console game with wireless controller. It's $170. It's not that much more. I thought it was more than that. So maybe I may have looked at something wrong. My apologies.
Well, that is even a special edition. Like if you get the regular one, it's not that much. It's less than that. Like and they put them on sale too. Like if you watch them, they'll go on sale for, $50 or something like that.
Okay, yeah, I may have to pick one of those up if I say it, because it just looked.
Dude, playing. Cool. I mean, not everybody appreciates this generation of games, but I love Atari and Intellivision and my 5200 and that whole generation. ColecoVision, it's awesome stuff, man. It really is.
Woot is still a thing. I haven't been to woot.com in forever, Luke. Oh, I'm gonna have to go look up woot.com. Yeah,
that's good.
I had to get off of Woot, because Woot, you get those emails. Hey, guess what's up for sale today? Damn it, better spend some more money. So
yeah,
that's old school. All right, let's go ahead and move to our next story, because kind of interesting story.
Oh Lord.
So GameStop. Interesting that they did this. This is I don't even know how to compare this. Like, this is like, I don't know, Zimbabwe coming out saying, hey, guess what? Everything's cool in the Middle East. I don't know. GameStop declares console war is over. So it's over, Cyrus. We don't have to fight this anymore. Halo campaign evolved, announced for the PS5. Disband the militias and enjoy this new era of gaming. Even though Sony and Nintendo still have a lot of exclusives, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. Nothing to say on this one. We're just going right along with Chat, do you have any comments on this?
I put a song out earlier. I don't know if you listened.
Yes, you did. I still haven't had a chance to listen to it, because I literally came home and it was like I literally showed up like 5 minutes before you did. I was just like, oh, slideshow's up. So
yeah. So I don't know what the last story is that we have to talk about. It's not related to this. It's something else.
No, it's related to this.
Okay.
Do you want me again? Throw it up there, because we'll just mash this ball all together. Okay. All right. Well, so GameStop has declared the console war is over. There's no reason you should be able to play whatever you want to play, wherever you want to play it. I mean, Microsoft says, hey, I don't get it. Like, why do you think that a console and a PC are two different things? Microsoft CTO, and I know I'm going to butcher his name, Sasha Nandala said, it's funny that people think about the console PC as different things. And everyone is taking that as a hint as the next Xbox is going to be a PC console hybrid that you're going to be able to play said Sony games via Steam.
Can you play my song on the show? Is there any way you could
you talk, I'll see what I can do.
Okay. It could be really funny.
Okay, yeah, please, talk.
Okay, so wow, what a storied history that the Xbox has had after all these years. The Xbox entered the scene after the Dreamcast basically took a shit. A lot of the people and a lot of the efforts from the Dreamcast sort of carried over to the Xbox. So people always said the original Xbox was sort of the Dreamcast 2 in a lot of ways. And we kind of had that sentiment, about the original Xbox. It was really cool. I never owned one, but my brother had one, my cousin had one, and we played Halo quite a bit. Really into Halo back in
the OG Xbox, the original one.
Yeah.
I never had one either.
Okay, yeah. So I've never had one to this day, but I have played it, and we really did enjoy it. This is before they even had Xbox Live. It wasn't even an online, thing. We figured out a way to play online, but it was like there's some kind of like I don't know, Ethernet magic. They figured out some way to do it. We did play a couple matches and it wasn't good. It had a major lag, But when the 360 came out, I was really excited about the PlayStation 3. I was going to get a PlayStation 3 until they announced how much it was going to cost. And then I was like, I guess I'm not getting a PlayStation 3. But the 360 was very compelling. And my ex-wife, who was my wife at the time, surprised me and got us a 360, and which caused us to have to get an HD TV because we didn't even have an HD TV. It was like,
oh wow, that's what got you to get one, huh?
Yeah, there's
nice.
So yeah, that was an interesting time. I sold all of my retro consoles, most of them, so I could get an HD TV. Because there was no such thing as retro back then. People don't understand.
Oh yeah, like absolutely. I think I can play the first one you sent me, but the file you sent me, the MP3, I don't think I can pull in here anyway.
Oh no.
So really? Would the first one still be okay?
No, you have to play the second one. Hang on, I'll send you
all right, so send me a link to the second one. So okay, well let's see here. So I'll throw in my 2 cents while you're doing that. Yeah, I never had an OG Xbox. Real quick, I do want to show this real quick because this is fucking awesome. I did put it on your Discord. Let's see if I can. No, I'm hearing that. I don't want to hear that. I just want to. Yeah, that's what I want right there. If you follow Macho Nacho Productions on YouTube, he just put out a video today of let's see, let me share the screen real quick. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're gonna hit share. Yeah, so he just put out this video today of building the Xbox prototype. And oh my god, this thing is insane that he does. Like it literally cost him like $16,000 to do it. But literally he built a working Xbox prototype. I mean, the dude is awesome anyway, but he got help with a bunch of other people for the design stuff. If you haven't watched this video, go watch it. It is 45 minutes long, but it's worth every minute of it because just seeing this thing in real life. Because I had the same thought when I first saw this. I thought that is gorgeous, but there's no way they're going to be able to actually produce that because there is no wife in the world that's going to be like, you're going to put that in the living room? That's not going in the living room.
The original one, by the way, I sent you the thing. Okay. The original one wasn't even really a functional Xbox. It was just like a prototype.
That's what he said. Yeah.
Yeah. and it was crazy. There was no way it was going to be a real console. They weren't even saying it was going to be a real console. It was just like here's this crazy, prototype that we have or whatever. My Tito from Macho Nacho has really done fantastic work on his channel over the years, from mods that he because of him, I learned how to mod my PSP Go and added shit tons of memory to it. I love my PSP Go, but I really love it now because it's amazing. All the stuff that's on there. It's not even hacked. My PSP Go is not hacked. I just have like 128 gig of stuff that I bought on PlayStation Network, because it plays all your PSP games and your PS1 digital games, and there's another minis that you have. So I've got it filled with all kinds of shit. But yeah, he's awesome. Tito's very cool. Love that. Love his channel.
All right, I'm gonna see if I can pull this in here real quick. So share screen. So it should do it because I'm in the same browser, so we should be able to hear. Also share tab audio. Yes, I want you to share tab audio. So, all right, what do we have here? So we've got that. Here is what Cyrus sent me earlier today.
This is my tribute to Xbox.
Okay, and I have not heard this either. So we're all except for Cyrus, we're all listening to this together for the first time.
Hopefully it plays.
Woo! Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. Yo. Red ring roulette, consoles blowing like a jet, studio door slamming, we ain't done with y'all yet. Perfect dark, nah, canceled in the dark. Promises lighter than the feather Tony Stark. Bought the hype train. Derailment at the station, lying through their teeth. Corporate translation, Forza the PlayStation, Halos on the run, Gears of War on a Sony vacation. What's done is dumb. Everything's an Xbox, everything sucks. Controllers drifting, dreams combust. What happened? Who let the clowns take the wheel? Big green box with a death wish deal. Price hike scandal, wallets dismantled. Gamers in the chat like, yo, this ain't handled. Close more studios than Blockbuster stores. Innovation left out on the cutting room floors. Power of the cloud, yeah, that vapor's thin. Streaming broken promises, buffering sins. No exclusives, no excuses, no truce. Xbox the Titanic, feel ice the juice. All bark, no bite, no next gen flight. Connects in the grave, should've buried it right. What's a console war if you forfeit the fight? Saying game over for the match ignites. Everything's an Xbox, everything sucks. Controllers drifting, dreams combust. What happened? Who let the clowns take the wheel? Big green box with a death wish deal. They said power your dreams, but I woke to a nightmare. Bugs in my games, lag spikes in the air. Day one exclusives, but where they at? Just a Game Pass scroll with a shovelware stack. Fable's a fable, rares in despair. Master Chief, super driving games elsewhere. We got receipts, they keep dropping the ball. Xbox ain't a console, it's a punchline, y'all.
Okay, so my first comment, hold on. Nope, pause. Okay, my first comment or question, I should say, is did you write that or did you just feed it information?
I edited it a little.
Okay, but
I fed it a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
it gave me a version. I edited the text that it gets. This is what I usually do with this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It gives me a base for lyrics, and then I change some of the lyrics. Or I just add a whole bunch of, like, some of these I completely change the lyrics, but then I'll do like remixes, and I'll have it give me like different versions of it. And sometimes I'll go through 2 or 3. Sometimes I go through a lot, but because I'm just having fun with this stuff, guys.
Yeah,
but it is fun. But
you're doing a good job of it because that was fucking awesome, dude.
I put a little bit of work into these. They're not just like AI, do your thing. That's not.
Yeah.
But this one was fun because it gave me most of the best stuff already, and then I just changed a few things, and I was like, "Damn,
yeah, this was awesome."
It was pretty cold blooded.
Yeah, yes, it was.
They shut down more studios than Blockbuster closed stores or something.
That
I was like.
That was good. That was good.
You might have missed some of it because some of it goes real fast. They said Fable is just a fable.
Yeah.
And they were talking about Rare. I can't remember everything that because there's a lot in there. I was really surprised the density of what was in that. There's quite a bit.
Is there any way? I don't think I can zoom in on. Let's see here. See if I can zoom in on this.
Last line, I want to see Cy rap this with an instrumental version. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, it's still kind of hard to see on the screen, but yeah. Red ring roulette, consoles blowing like a jet. Yeah. Studio door slamming. We ain't done with y'all yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done, sir. Very well done. Very well done.
Fun stuff.
So back to the main story here. So I know you and I had a conversation the other day, and I still want to have a very serious conversation with you. And actually, I'll throw this out there to the rest of the group before we wrap up here. I have an Xbox Series S. I can't tell you the last time I fired that thing up. Is it worth me holding on to the thing? Because here's the thing. Almost every console I've ever sold, I'd almost say every console I've ever sold, I have regretted it afterwards. A long time afterwards, generally, but I've regretted it. And I get it. Like, I wish I still had my GameCube. I mean, yes, I've got a Wii back there that plays GameCube games. There's no reason for me to physically have a GameCube except for I just liked that little square box console. It was a cute little awesome thing, and I liked it. So Luke's already saying Series S isn't worth keeping. And see, that the thing is, though, is like, even if any of the consoles I have back here, or any, like, even go back to the 360, if I had a 360, I could still go buy games for it to load into it. And that was my comment, was because it doesn't have a disk drive, would I ever be able to continue to load games on it? And if I'm not, is it worth holding on to? Because I mean, I could sure as hell use what money I got from it to put towards my PC or whatever.
Honestly, dude, I'll tell you this. I have a 360, which I'm glad that I have. And I have a Series S. Okay. But I'll definitely keep my 360. I wish I would have kept my Xbox One X, because that does what I want from my Series S. Plus, it plays 4K Blu-rays, and I can put discs in it and do all that stuff. The Series S sucks. It really does suck. It's fine, whatever, but there's no reason to have a Series S. Xbox One X, yeah, probably so. A Series X, maybe. I guess there's more reason to have a Series X than a Series S. Series S is, we got them because it was affordable and it was a way to dip our toes into that ecosystem of the series stuff. Maybe enjoy some of the newer games, which wasn't even, who gives a shit, you know? But yeah, I think if I still had a Xbox One X, I would definitely keep that, and I wouldn't have a series console, because I don't know why I even need a series console. For what? Like, what? Why do you need one? I mean, if you had a Xbox One X, because then you could take advantage of all the upgrades to your 360 games, and you could still have access to your digital games for the libraries for both the Xbox One and the 360.
And so, see, that's what I'm thinking, is like, if maybe I should sell my S, and if I ever decide to go back and get a console, you know, an older Xbox console that I can't really emulate because for whatever reason, then maybe I would do that. But I mean, hell, I'm looking at within the next 6 months probably doing a major overhaul of my PC and getting it up to, I'm probably going to be able in the next month or so be able to get it up to a Ryzen 5 and maybe even a Ryzen 7. And at that point, I should be able to play even newer games fairly decent. I was thinking, so I had a thought today. I was like, tomorrow is Halloween, and at my high school, staff and students are allowed to dress up. We're just not allowed to wear helmets or masks. And like, I've already made Helldiver's armor for Alex. I still haven't played the game. I still think it looks fantastic. I still want to play it with the boys. Hopefully when I get this thing upgraded, I can do that. We can all play. But I'm like, man, it would be cool to make armor for that. But I'm just like, the problem is without the helmet, it doesn't really do the whole thing. And I was like, well, is there anything I could make that all three of us could wear if they wanted to do that when they get to high school next year? And I thought, what if I did Gears of War? because there's no helmets involved with that. And that is some badass looking foam armor I could do. And then I thought, shit, I need to go back and play Gears of War with the boys. And I thought, but I don't have to have an Xbox to do that. I can do that on a PC. And that kind of got me down the road of thinking. I was just like, would I need to collect an Xbox at this point? Like going back to this story, it kind of sounds like I'm going to be able to play Xbox games on, if I down the road, I may be able to just be like, well, I want to play some newer games. So I go buy a Sony console and play all the Xbox shit on it. Like,
I think Xbox games, like the Xbox dashboard and ecosystem, is going to be on PCs. I think that they're not just going to bring PC to Xbox. I think they're going to bring Xbox to PC also.
I mean, they've been talking about doing that forever. I mean, they installed the Xbox app as soon as you install Windows, there it is. Much to the chagrin of every corporate office out there. Like, that's the first thing they do is rip that shit out. I mean, likely so, because it's a corporate system. But you know what I'm saying? Like, so... Yeah, I keep leaning more and more to the idea I should just sell it, get the money that I can for it now.
Yeah, if you're going to sell it, this is a good time because it's massively overpriced right now. And if anybody wants to buy one for some reason, they're going to pay you more now than they ever will in the future. Especially once, like I said, this change happens and they bring Xbox to PC, in which case nobody's going to give a shit about the Series S. Like, it's going to be.
I mean, we've been reading stories forever that, you know, like supposedly all of the fucking game companies are like, can you please get rid of this thing because it's the lowest end on the tier and we feel like we have to keep supporting it. And of course, I kind of rope that back to, but you also don't want to optimize your games. Like, you're just like, well, fuck, I don't care if it's got 60 gigs worth of, you know, sprites or whatever, just put a bigger hard drive in it. Like, there's no optimization anymore. But yeah, so I was trying to look up real quick to see how much I could get for a Series S. So, but anyway, but yeah, so yeah, there's lots of stuff going on, and you've been saying for a while, I know you and a couple of the other guys that are on this chat have been saying for a while, is what Xbox doing making sense? Because it's not like the company has a long history of doing the best thing for the company. Every other OS they make is garbage.
I don't know if you had heard about this 30% margin thing that they had set.
No.
Apparently for the past year or so, maybe it's longer than a year, but I think it's about a year. They've had an internal requirement that their efforts in the gaming space needs to make 30% margins. They need to make 30% profit for it to meet their goals. And nobody in the gaming sphere, not Nintendo or Sony or anybody else, makes 30%. It's just, some of them do 17, some of them do 20 something, some of them do less than that, but nobody's hitting 30. It really feels like, once you start to hear about some of the behind the scenes stuff, that they have been sabotaged by the corporate entity. And the other reason that I think that is because they said that the next generation Xbox is going to come in 2027. And they have, I mean, it's so bad right now, the sales for Xbox, they're pulling consoles out of stores. Like, some stores are stopped carrying anything related to Xbox stuff. The word of mouth and everything is I mean, they're done. Xbox is destroyed. It's been annihilated in the public, you know, between all the price hikes and the bad decisions and closing studios and the lying and the changing their mind and things coming out that aren't what they said they would be. Just one thing after another after another. Nobody trusts anything that Microsoft is doing. And it seems to have been engineered that way. It seems to have been set up. I mean, I watch these guys who are Xbox, like dedicated Xbox streamers, like Colt Eastwood, my buddy Fonzarelli, who does Fonzarelli Gaming. I've watched them openly give up. They openly say it's over. This is done, you know?
Mhm.
And these are guys that, you know, they've been wading through the fucking shit and, you know, for years fighting against all the bad decision making. And on top of that, all the battling that they've been doing with the Sony streamers and stuff like that. And, you know, like my buddy Potion Sword Run, he's another guy who has given up on Xbox completely, canceled his Game Pass subscription. You know, people don't even believe in Game Pass anymore because it's too expensive, and the software selection is not as good as it used to be, and it seems to just be getting worse and worse. So people have really, the tide has really turned completely against the future of Xbox.
Yeah, they're gonna have to, whatever they announce for this next thing's gonna have to really knock it out of the park.
I mean, what they said was their next gen console is going to be a premium console focused on high end specs and is going to be very expensive.
Then that right there is going to shoot it. Because if you're a high end premium, then you're playing. Let's be truthful. If you're a high end, you're playing on PC, so you can get. But you're chasing the fucking dragon, which means it's automatically. You're going to look at it. Parents are going to look at this and be like, "Well, I'm not paying that much for a console. Fuck that. I'll go buy another Nintendo or a Sony system."
You're 100% right. Their mindset at this moment is we're going to just make PCs that play Xbox games.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like it.
That's what their mindset is.
So this is what GameStop is currently offering right now. Cash, $105. Store credit, $150. If I could find $150 worth of stuff, I mean, $105 is really not too bad because I bought it used anyway. But $150 is not that bad for store credit if I can find what I want.
You could get more than that if you want. Like if you
nope. Where am I going to get it?
eBay.
No, I don't want to deal with eBay.
You don't want to deal with that? I don't.
No, because you've already gotten screwed too many times with eBay, and I've heard too many other people get screwed with eBay.
You do get screwed on eBay,
and you cannot sell it on Facebook Marketplace. The last time I tried to sell one on Facebook Marketplace, it was just person after person. Hey, I'm interested. Okay, cool. The price is okay. Yep. They'll ask all these questions, blah, blah, blah. All right, well, we'll meet on Thursday. Nothing. Dead. Just completely drop you. And apparently this is a running thing, especially with certain things, game consoles, other electronics. There are people who just like to grief you online. And so I'm just like, now, if it's like houseware stuff, like I sold a crap ton of stuff. I sold a chop saw and some other stuff out of my shop the other day, had no issues with it. Like everyone who like contacted me was like legitimately wanting to find out about it. But as soon as you try to put stuff like this on there, you got these little assholes online. They're just like, cool, I'm just going to mess with everyone. So I'm just like, screw it. I'll just take the $105 and run if I need to.
Well,
I mean, GameStop does sell like PC parts, right? Maybe
GameStop? I don't think so.
I'll have to look into it.
I don't think they do anything PC.
I don't know. I haven't been to a GameStop in forever.
Well, I got to tell you, the one thing about PC gaming that we really should be concerned about as gamers is the fact that everything with PC gaming has, you know, there's no physical games anymore. And most of the stores don't really carry PC stuff, you know?
Nope.
It worries me for the longevity of the platform because I mean right now it's fine, but you know, I saw an interesting it was either an article or a video I was watching where they were talking about how the next generation of kids don't even refer to themselves as gamers. They refer to themselves as a gamer of a specific game. Like I play Candy Crush.
I'm a Fortnite gamer.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I hadn't heard that. That's interesting.
Yeah. And it's because everything's a service now. Everything's a service. And so the future of what we think of as gaming is, you know, there's a lot of potential for things to change and probably in ways that we're not going to be comfortable with. So, but yeah, what I was saying is like PC stuff, you can't even find it, you know, it's not. Once upon a time, I think PC gaming was much more accessible. Like it was, you know, you go to Best Buy and they have all the video cards. You go to Walmart, they had all the video cards.
See, that's what maybe I'm having that old style brain where I was just like, oh yeah, I used to walk in there and there was other stuff. Now you're right. Now that I think about it, I don't know if they do sell anything with PC stuff, so I'd probably just take the 105 and run. I know what they sell now, and I will never forgive GameStop for buying Think Geek. They can burn in hell for that. Real quick, going back to some of the things he said. By the way, Luke's Awakening, Trifid. I'll take Trifid. God, that is so burned into us. But going back to what Last Line said, Epic and Valve barely make the 30 plus. And Epic barely makes it. What I immediately thought of when you brought that up, I didn't know about that, if that's true. What I immediately thought of is way back whenever the federal government was just like, hey, you know what? Of all the branches and all the stuff that we've done, we've decided the post office has to start pulling its own weight and start making money. Why the post office? Like, why are you picking on the fucking post office? And that's why the post office has had as many issues as they've had. We don't make the Army, Navy, or anyone else pull their own weight. Well, we just keep throwing money at them, but the post office, we're just like, no, it's fine. If mail just goes away, we'll let the private investors take care of it.
I was going to say, we're going to get into politics if we start talking about this.
Yeah, but anyway, that was my thought, was why the fuck, if that's the case, why has Microsoft decided, you guys, you have to make 30%? Because I guarantee the Office group and the main OS group and all the other stuff that they have their fingers in, no one's pulling those kind of numbers. Like, not because Office is so ridiculous now.
Not even Activision, the big one that they just bought that was supposed to be the savior of Xbox. Not even that is 30%. So it's been wild. I think the problem is that we look at the Xbox stuff and we want to try to figure it out. We want to try to like get some kind of like rationality, come up with some theory that makes sense and be like, well, let's logically deduce something here. And the problem is that I don't think that any of that is applicable to what's happened at Microsoft in the past 10 years. Like especially the last 3 or 4. It's been madness, and I really think they're self-destructing. I really feel like it's funny how even with everything that's gone on and all the evidence for the conclusions that people have made about what's going on with Microsoft, there are some people who still will straight face tell you that everything's great and it's never been better. And what are you worried? What are you talking about? There's no reason to be worried. Everything's amazing. And it's the greatest, it's the best deal in gaming and all this kind of stuff. Even with all the price hikes and even with all the service failures and the cancellations and the shut down studios and the laid off people and the hardware that never came out that was supposed to come out and the broken promises and even with everything that's happened, there's gonna be people that are irrationally stubborn, not even loyal, because it's not about loyalty. I firmly believe that if you're an actual Xbox fan like me, who is an actual Xbox fan, you should have been criticizing.
You are posers. No, just fine.
No, my point is, you should have been criticizing what they've been doing, and you should have been criticizing it for years instead of making excuses. Because if you're an actual fan of Xbox and you wanted this thing to work out, they needed the public to correct them. They needed the public to get in and start saying, guys, we've got to do something different here. And instead, they got a bunch of sycophants who were too busy fighting with Sony people to actually be rational and just defended everything. It's like a lot of the Nintendo fanboys. There's all these terrible things Nintendo's done with the Switch 2 launch, bad decision after bad decision, pricing decisions that are insane, the key cards and the weird stuff. And if you bring any of that stuff up to people that are like committed to Nintendo, they're not criticizing this stuff. They're trying to make excuses for this stuff. And I'm like, guys, you think you're helping? You think this is a good thing? You think this is going to benefit gaming and make things better? No. You complain about, oh, the games are too expensive, the system's too expensive, but then you buy it anyway. You know, I'm not happy with how things are going, but you still give them the money. Like, it's like, come on, guys. We just saw this play out with Xbox. I don't know. This is why they were mentioning in the chat earlier how a lot of young people are turning to retro gaming.
And I can verify that. Like I've talked about this on the show. I've gone to the big retro convention here in Texas. Crap, I forgot what it's called. Anyway, that I just went to a few months ago. The guys that were at my booth, you know, the rest of the Austin Ghostbusters, the guys that bought the most stuff are the youngest members of my group. We're talking about early 20s and mid 20s. Those are the guys that were just like, the one guy came back. He's like, look, I got the bongos for the N64 Donkey Kong game. And I'm just like I had, or not N64, but for the GameCube. I'm just like, I had the GameCube. I'm like, I never played that game, but like, that was his jam. Like, he loved that game. And I'm just like, man, I'm really seeing something here. Like, these kids are really liking these older consoles and stuff. Maybe not Intellivision. That might be a little much.
I understand that.
But,
I get that. Yeah.
But like, they clearly love, you know, GameCube, the first gen PlayStation and Xbox. 16-bit is about as far down as most of them will go. Like, their 8-bit is a little hard for some of them to swallow.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's true to an extent for not just the younger people, but for a lot of people of all ages. You know, I'm one of those people who I really have abandoned modern gaming. There's only a few modern games that I even give a shit about at all, and most of them I picked up when they were on sale for almost nothing. You know, I'm not a guy who's going to help forge the path forward for modern gaming. I'm done. Okay. I like my old stuff. I like the homebrew stuff for the old stuff. I like games that make sense to me, and I like hardware that makes sense to me. I like things that make sense. It's funny. I don't know. I'm crazy, I guess. I like things to make sense for some reason. That's weird. And nothing about modern gaming makes sense. It's just bullshit, you know? And I'm done with bullshit. So yes, I'm 99%, maybe 95% or whatever, a retro gamer. And I'll tell you what, it's a lot better gaming experiences. Okay. Once you get over the hype of, ray tracing and 120 frames per second and all this shit, once you get over all that and you just go, I just want to have fun and I want the game to look, you know, like something that makes sense to me. Retro gaming just becomes so much better. It becomes so much more appealing. So that's where I'm at. Anyway.
Yep. Just a couple of comments that are out here. After the EA acquisition and knowing where the money is going, I'll never buy another EA game again. I get it. There's a word for those people. Sigh. It's Shields. Make gaming great again. Yeah, absolutely. Like I'm kind of with you a little bit, Luke. The 8-bit is hard for me. I will say I do enjoy going back and playing 8-bit games. Like, I've just went back and played several of them here. But I have to say, man, there was the jump between 8 and 16-bit was so huge. It just makes such a big difference. Yeah, and it's man, there was so much more that you could do with the 16-bit stuff. But Sai is about to tell us to get off his lawn. Yeah, that's a joke. Actually, I'm about to tell everyone to get off the lawn because we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. Thanks to everyone that was in the chat room. Luke's Awakening. Let's see. Let me scroll back through here. Last Line I know was here. Born Distracted. Thanks for being here, man. I know my boy jumped in at one point way back when. If I'm missing anyone, I'm sorry.
We didn't see Trichome. What happened to Trichome?
Yeah, we didn't see Trichome. And I said it right this time. And I noticed you pointed that out on your stream last time.
PJ Smith was here. Did you see
PJ? That's right, PJ Smith. That's right. Going all the way back here. Yeah, there he is. PJ Smith was here. So, like I said, my boy did jump in, but his well was was kind of late. I still need it. Maybe I need to do that as a shirt. I'm playing with some new shirt ideas. So, and in fact, I don't know who was in the comment section about I can't remember where it was, made the comment about Be Kind Rewind. Yeah, that you may be seeing that. So, Anyway, is hanging out with
Bicom.
Are they mad at Monochrome or how's that?
Was it Monochrome or Unichrome? We're going with Monochrome.
I think Monochrome because it's really close to Monochrome, and I kind of like that. So anyway. But yeah, thanks for joining us, everyone. And as always, check out all the stuff we do, including the Epically Geeky Show, the Marginally Geeky Show. By the way, the Epically Geeky Show, if you haven't watched the last episode and you jumped in, I can't remember who it was that was jumped in. They're just like, is this story time? Yes, it was. We were doing monster version of
it was confusing to some of the people that I know because they're like, what the hell is this? Because because you've been doing all these game streams and stuff, and
I know, yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, what? We're doing stories,
doing kids stories. Okay, what's going on here? But wait a minute, this is not a kid's story. Like something's wrong here. So, and then the Marginally Geeky Show, Creatively Geeky, Sustainably Geeky, EG Live, which is what we're doing here, and then of course EG Gaming. I was going to grab one more image real quick here, see if I can pull this in. No, that's the one I want right there. Let's do this one instead. And then, of course, if you want to check out any of the awesome shirts that we've got, I'm working on some new ones. You can check it over at our merch store at tpublic.com, user Epically Geeky, or just go to epicallygeeky.com and click on the link. It'll take you there. I mean, it's the thing to do. So, it's the thing to do. So you can always find us at epicallygeeky.com. And where can we find you online, Cyrus Martin?
Oh,
that's weird how it has to move it over because of the text on the side.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I'm at Super Mega Graphics 64. You guys know that. And Super Mega Graphics 64 Plus, I'm starting to put some content back on there.
Yes, you are, because I noticed you did that play, or you were playing quite a bit of Deep Fear. Is that what it was called?
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. It took me a while to figure out how to play the game because it's very similar to Resident Evil, but
the oxygen bomb thing grenade is weird. I'm like, oxygen grenade, what?
I was like, this is a Saturn game. As soon as that, I was like, yeah, this is Saturn.
That comment you made too, you're like, when it's a Saturn game. Yeah. So,
and last line, at some point, I'm going to start playing through Grandia.
What is Grandia?
It's a JRPG.
Okay.
Yeah, and they have it English translated. I have it on PlayStation digitally on my PS3, but this is a newly translated one from the Saturn version. So I'll be
okay.
So
first I thought y'all said Granada, and I was just like, that game on the Sega Genesis? That was an awesome game. But
okay,
but, yeah, yeah. So
and then I'll play that too.
Yeah. What talk about anyway. You can find me at Optimus Gene / Optimus Gene on Instagram. I mean, you can find me on Facebook, but I mean, come on, let's be honest, no one goes to Facebook anymore. So, but anyway, that is the show for the week. Ladies and gentlemen, let's be honest. We know who's watching the show. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us again. I guess for everyone on the site, have a good night.
What's the twist? What's the score?